Ladies and gentlemen, the greatest journey you'll ever take is not to some faraway land or in the pursuit of material wealth. It is the journey within, towards the heart of who you truly are. Today, we're going to explore how you can connect with your inner self, awaken the power within you, and live with purpose, direction, and passion. Let's begin. The journey of self-discovery begins with a single powerful step: awareness. Without it, you're like a ship adrift at sea, with no clear destination, no sense of purpose, no understanding of why you're heading in a particular direction. Awareness is the foundation upon which everything else is built. You cannot connect with your true self unless you first know who you are. And yet many people go through life without ever pausing to ask themselves the most fundamental question: who am I? They are so caught up in the noise and distractions of the world around them, society's expectations, the opinions of others, the relentless pursuit of material success, that they never stop to examine what truly matters to them. They chase goals that belong to someone else, live lives shaped by external forces, and never really take the time to listen to their own hearts. But the moment you take a step back and ask yourself, who am I really? Everything begins to shift. That simple question forces you to pause, to reflect, to look inward. It challenges you to step outside the noise of the world and connect with the deepest part of yourself. This is where true power lies. When you begin to understand who you are, what drives you, what fills you with energy and passion, your life takes on a whole new meaning. It's no longer about following the crowd or chasing after fleeting trends. It's about living intentionally, with purpose and clarity. The power of self-awareness is transformative. When you understand your own values, desires, and motivations, you can make decisions that align with your true self. You no longer feel lost or uncertain about your path. Instead, you have a sense of direction, a deeper knowing of what's right for you. You start living with purpose. Every decision you make, fueled by the clarity that comes from knowing who you are and what you stand for. Life doesn't happen to you anymore. You make it happen. You begin to create the life you truly want to live, not based on the expectations of others, but rooted in your own authentic desires. Take a moment to think about this. When was the last time you asked yourself these essential questions? Who am I? What do I want? What makes me feel alive? For so many, the answer is buried beneath layers of self-doubt, fear, and the pressure of conformity. But let me tell you, the answers are there, waiting for you to uncover them. The more you dig within, the clearer your path becomes. It's not always an easy process, but it's one of the most powerful things you can do for yourself. And when you start living with that kind of awareness, the world around you begins to change. You stop being a passive observer and become an active participant in your own life. You stop letting life push you in different directions and start taking the reins of your own destiny. Self-awareness is the key that unlocks the door to your true potential. It gives you the courage to make decisions based on what truly matters to you, not on the noise of the world. And when you live with this kind of intentionality, everything becomes possible. Your vision becomes clearer, your actions become more purposeful, and your life takes on a meaning that transcends the ordinary. This is the power of self-awareness. It's not just the beginning of your journey, it's the foundation upon which everything else is built. In a world that constantly demands our attention, silence is often viewed as an inconvenience, something to be filled with noise or activity. We are surrounded by distractions, each pulling us in a different direction. Social media, work, responsibilities, and the endless chatter of those around us. We've become so accustomed to this noise that we've forgotten what it means to be still, to be silent. But here's the truth. Silence is not a burden. It is the gateway to your inner world, the very place where true clarity, peace, and self-discovery lie. You see, it is only in the quiet moments that we are able to hear the deepest parts of ourselves. When the world falls away and we give ourselves permission to simply be, we begin to connect with something much deeper than the surface-level noise. Our thoughts, once drowned out by the distractions of daily life, begin to rise up and take form. Our intuition speaks to us more clearly, guiding us in ways we often overlook when we are too busy. In silence, we hear the voice of our inner self, genuine, raw, and unfiltered. This is where the real answers lie, not in the hustle of everyday life, but in the stillness that allows us to listen to our heart and soul. Think about it for a moment. When was the last time you truly embraced solitude? Not solitude because you had no choice, but the kind you actively sought, the kind where you step away from the noise, the obligations, the constant pull of the outside world, and simply sit with yourself, whether it's 5 minutes or an hour. Giving yourself this time is a powerful act of self-care. It's in these moments that you uncover truths about yourself that you may have long ignored. You may discover dreams, desires, or fears you didn't even know existed. You may find answers to questions that have been lingering in your mind for years. But none of this can happen if you're constantly distracted, constantly doing. You must create space for reflection, for stillness, in order to hear what your heart is truly saying. I understand that in today's world this can feel difficult. We're so used to being busy, to feeling like every moment must be filled with productivity or entertainment. But let me ask you, what if the key to living a more purposeful, fulfilled life lies not in doing more, but in being more? What if all you need to do is embrace silence and allow yourself the time to reconnect with your own thoughts, your own feelings, your own truth? The beauty of silence is that it is not empty. It is filled with opportunity. In those quiet moments, you can begin to align yourself with your purpose. You can clear away the clutter and gain clarity on your direction. You can hear the whispers of your intuition, guiding you towards decisions that are right for you, not because of what others expect, but because they are true to your soul. This is the power of solitude. When you embrace it, you will find not only greater peace, but also greater purpose. So, take a step back. Allow yourself the gift of silence, even if it's only for a few minutes each day. It's in this space that you will find the wisdom, the strength, and the direction you need to move forward. In the stillness, you will uncover the most powerful truths about yourself and your life. And once you do, you will never look at silence the same way again. We all have moments in life when something inside of us speaks. Maybe it's a feeling, a nudge, a sense that something is right or wrong. It's that gut instinct that we can't quite explain, but we feel it deep down. Yet how often do we ignore it? How often do we second guess ourselves, dismiss that inner voice because it doesn't fit with what we think we should do, or because fear whispers louder in our ears? That voice, that feeling, is your intuition, and it is far more powerful than we often give it credit for. It's not just a random thought, it's a message from within, a guidance system that's always there, quietly leading us toward our true path. Trusting your intuition is one of the most profound acts of self-empowerment you can practice. We've all been taught to rely on logic, to look for evidence, to follow a prescribed set of rules. But logic alone doesn't always have the answers. There are moments in life when you need to go beyond the facts, beyond the surface, and tap into something deeper. That's where your intuition comes in. It's a powerful tool, a connection to a higher wisdom that knows you better than you know yourself. When you trust your intuition, you are trusting a part of you that sees the bigger picture, that understands what your heart truly wants, and that can guide you in the right direction, even when the road ahead isn't clear. But trusting your intuition requires courage. It requires you to let go of the fear that often clouds your judgment. Fear of making mistakes, fear of being wrong, fear of disappointing others. These fears can drown out the quiet whispers of your inner voice, leaving you feeling stuck or uncertain. But here's the truth. The more you listen to that inner voice, the stronger it becomes. It's like a muscle that grows with use. The more you trust it, the more confident you'll become in its guidance. The more you follow it, the more it will lead you toward the decisions that align with your true path. Decisions that feel right in your heart, even if they don't always make sense to others. Your intuition knows what's best for you, even when your mind is filled with doubt. It has the ability to sense opportunities, to feel danger before it arrives, and to direct you toward people and experiences that will support your growth. It is a powerful ally, but only if you choose to listen to it. The more you silence the noise, quiet the self-doubt, and trust in your own inner wisdom, the more you will find that your path becomes clearer, your decisions become easier, and your life becomes more aligned with your true desires. Don't let fear be the voice that drowns out your intuition. Don't let the doubts of others influence you to second-guess yourself. When you trust your intuition, you are choosing to trust yourself. to honor the wisdom that already resides within you. And in doing so, you begin to step into a life that is more authentic, more fulfilling, and more true to who you really are. So the next time you feel that nudge, that inner voice urging you forward, listen, trust it, because the more you do, the more your intuition will guide you to the life you are meant to live. If you're going to connect with your inner self, the very first step is to accept who you are. Flaws, imperfections, and all. Now, I know that sounds simple, but it's far from easy. In a world that constantly bombards us with images of perfection, on social media, in the media, and even in the expectations of those around us, it can be hard to look at ourselves and truly embrace who we are. We're taught to aim for perfection, to strive for an ideal that doesn't exist. But let me tell you this, perfection is a myth. It's an illusion that holds us back from truly living our lives to the fullest. We all have imperfections, we all have weaknesses, we all have those moments when doubt creeps in, when we question whether we're enough, whether we're doing enough, whether we measure up, and that's okay. It's part of being human. But here's the powerful truth. Your imperfections don't make you less than anyone else. In fact, they make you human. They make you real. When you can accept these parts of yourself, when you can stand in the truth of who you are, that's when real growth begins. You see, the journey of self-discovery isn't about becoming perfect. It's about accepting yourself as you are right now. It's about honoring the full spectrum of who you are, the light and the dark, the strengths and the weaknesses. When you can look at yourself in the mirror and say, this is me and I am enough, you open the door to transformation. You begin to let go of the shame and guilt that often accompany our imperfections. You stop hiding parts of yourself and start to embrace them, knowing that these very imperfections are what make you unique, authentic, and beautifully human. But here's the kicker. When you accept your imperfections, you unlock the power to change and grow from within. When you stop fighting against yourself, when you stop pretending to be something you're not, you allow yourself to evolve in the most natural way. Growth doesn't happen by denying your flaws. It happens by acknowledging them, learning from them, and choosing to move forward anyway. It's time to stand in the greatness of your truth and face every difficulty with a strong sense of pride. When you accept that you're not perfect, you free yourself from the unrealistic pressure of trying to be something you were never meant to be. You give yourself permission to be imperfect, and in doing so, you tap into a well of strength and resilience that comes from within. It's time to let go of the idea that you need to be flawless. Perfection is a trap. It keeps us stuck, constantly chasing something we'll never fully attain. But when you accept yourself, when you honor your imperfections, you step into a space of self-compassion and self-love. You stop judging yourself so harshly, and instead, you embrace your humanity with all its messiness, beauty, and potential. The truth is, it's through our imperfections that we find the most profound opportunities for growth. It's when we stumble, when we face challenges, when we fall short of our own expectations that we learn the most. It's in these moments of vulnerability that we discover what we're truly made of. So accept yourself as you are. Honor your imperfections and know that in doing so, you unlock the greatest power you will ever have, the power to grow, to evolve, and to become the best version of yourself, flaws and all. We've all been there, at least once in our lives, where we've made a mistake, missed the mark, or failed to live up to our own expectations. And in those moments, what happens? That inner voice, the one that's always there, begins to speak. And it doesn't speak with kindness. It speaks with judgment. It tells you that you should have done better, that you should have known better, that you'll never get it right. It tells you you're not good enough, and you begin to believe it. But here's the truth. We are often our harshest critics. We can be quick to beat ourselves up, to criticize ourselves in ways we would never dream of criticizing others. But connecting with your inner self, truly connecting, requires something far more powerful than criticism. It requires compassion. When you stumble, and you will stumble, don't beat yourself up. When you fail, don't criticize yourself with harsh words. Instead, treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding you would show to a dear friend. Imagine your best friend came to you after they had failed at something. What would you say to them? You'd encourage them. You'd remind them that everyone faces setbacks and that failure is just a part of the process. You'd reassure them that it's not the end of the road. It's time to change that narrative. Self-compassion is the key to unlocking your true potential. It's the fuel that drives growth. When you treat yourself with compassion, you allow yourself to rise after each fall. Instead of getting stuck in the failure, you learn from it. Instead of wallowing in self-criticism, you embrace the lessons it has to offer. Self-compassion doesn't mean letting yourself off the hook. It doesn't mean avoiding responsibility. What it means is that you choose to be kind to yourself, even in the midst of mistakes. You choose to see those mistakes not as proof of your inadequacy, but as stepping stones on the path to greatness. The reality is that growth doesn't come from perfection. It comes from progress, from the willingness to keep going even when things get tough. And that's exactly what self-compassion does. It encourages you to keep going. It reminds you that each stumble is just a small part of your journey, and that the most important thing is not that you fall, but that you rise again. When you treat yourself with compassion, you create the mental and emotional space you need to grow, to learn, and to evolve. So I ask you, how long are you going to let self-criticism hold you back? How long will you allow the harsh judgments of your own mind to prevent you from moving forward? It's time to be gentle with yourself. It's time to replace that inner critic with an inner ally. Be the friend to yourself that you've always been to others. And as you do, watch how your connection to your true self deepens and how the path to growth becomes clearer. The road may not always be smooth, but with self-compassion as your guide, you'll find the strength to keep moving forward no matter what. The moment you take full ownership of your life, everything begins to shift. You see, many people spend their lives pointing fingers, blaming circumstances, blaming other people, blaming their past, blaming their circumstances. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that everything around you has control over your fate, but I'm here to tell you this. The moment you stop blaming and start owning, you step into the power that lies within you. You unlock your true potential. You connect with your inner self, and you begin to take control of the direction your life is going. We all face challenges. We all encounter obstacles. Life isn't always fair, and things don't always go as planned. But here's the difference between those who succeed and those who remain stuck. Those who succeed take responsibility. They own their decisions, they own their actions, and they own the outcomes, whether good or bad. They don't make excuses. They don't blame others for where they are. They stand in the truth of who they are and where they are right now. And they say, this is my life, and I'm in charge of where it goes from here. Taking ownership isn't about shirking responsibility for your mistakes. It's about understanding that you are the one who ultimately has the power to change your life. No more excuses, no more playing the victim. You begin to live driven by your true desires, not by what others expect from you or by what society tells you is possible. When you take ownership, you also free yourself from the weight of limitations. You stop feeling shackled by external forces because you understand that the only limits that truly exist are the ones you place on yourself. You realize that the power to change your circumstances lies within you. The path may not always be easy, but the responsibility for your success is yours, and that knowledge is liberating. You no longer feel helpless or at the mercy of life's unpredictability. You rise above the noise, above the distractions, and above the obstacles. You become the creator of your own reality. Now, I want you to think for a moment about where you are in life right now. Are you where you want to be? Are you living the life you've dreamed of? If not, don't blame the world. Don't blame your job, your family, or your circumstances. Look inward. Own your role in where you are. Own the choices you've made. And when you do that, you'll realize that you also own the power to change everything. You are the author of your own story, and no one else has the pen. So, take ownership of your life. Own your decisions, own your actions, own your outcomes. And when you do, you will unlock the door to a life of purpose, a life of intention, and a life driven by your deepest, most authentic desires. Your inner self will no longer feel shackled by excuses, limitations, or fear. It will feel free. And when you're free, that's when the real magic happens. That's when you connect deeply with the power within you and begin living a life that is truly yours. In this world, it's easy to get caught up in the noise, to follow the crowd, to chase after things that may seem important at the time but aren't in alignment with who you truly are. But here's the truth. Your values are the foundation of everything you do. They are the compass that points you in the right direction, that helps you navigate life with purpose and meaning. When you live in alignment with your values, your life flows with a sense of clarity and peace that's hard to describe. It's like the universe itself is supporting you because you're moving in the direction that is most authentic to you. But when you act out of alignment with your core beliefs, that's when the internal conflict begins. You feel torn. You feel confused. You feel disconnected. Your inner self knows when you're not being true to who you are. And when you ignore what you truly believe in, you lose that connection to your truest self. So many people walk through life without ever truly understanding what they value. They live according to other people's expectations, society's standards, or the latest trends. But let me tell you this, you cannot build a life of fulfillment on someone else's foundation. If you're not living in alignment with your values, you're essentially building on sand. The foundation isn't strong enough to support the life you want. When you make decisions based on external pressure or fleeting desires, you may achieve some success, but it won't bring lasting fulfillment. You'll always feel like something is missing, like there's a void within you that can't be filled by things that aren't aligned with your true beliefs. It's time to stop living according to other people's rules. It's time to start living according to your own values. The first step in this process is to identify what truly matters to you. What do you stand for? What do you believe in? What drives you at the deepest level? It's essential to take the time to discover your core values, because once you know them, they become your North Star. They guide you. They help you make decisions with clarity. They give you the confidence to say no to things that don't serve you and yes to things that align with who you are. When your actions are aligned with your values, life becomes simpler. You no longer feel torn between conflicting desires or obligations. You have a sense of direction. Every decision you make feels right because it's coming from a place of authenticity. There's no second guessing, no internal struggle, because you know that the path you're on is true to you. And when you're on the right path, everything else falls into place. Living in alignment with your values brings fulfillment because it means you're living from a place of integrity. You're showing up as your true self in every situation, and that brings a deep sense of satisfaction. It allows you to be confident in who you are, regardless of external validation. It brings clarity because you know exactly what's important to you and you're focused on what truly matters. Sanitation is important because it increases productivity. It brings peace because there's no inner conflict to deal with. So take the time to identify your core values. Let them guide your decisions, your actions, and your life. When you do, you'll experience a sense of fulfillment that no external success can provide. You'll be living in harmony with your truest self. Think about how you speak to yourself. What words do you use when you face a challenge, when things don't go as planned, or when you make a mistake? We all have an internal dialogue, but too often it's filled with negativity. We criticize ourselves, doubt our abilities, and speak to ourselves in ways we would never speak to a friend. But here's the truth. Your inner self is listening to every word you say. And every time you engage in negative self-talk, you build a wall between who you are and who you're meant to be. If you want to connect with your inner self, you must begin with the way you talk to yourself. Every time you catch yourself saying something negative, stop and ask yourself, would I say this to someone I love? Would I speak this way to someone I truly care about? The answer is almost always no. So why do we think it's okay to speak to ourselves in such harsh, limiting terms? If you wouldn't say it to a friend, why say it to yourself? It's time to release that negativity. It's time to replace those words of doubt with words of encouragement, optimism, and love. When you speak to yourself with kindness, you begin to empower yourself. You start to see your true potential. You start to realize that you are capable of much more than you've ever given yourself credit for. Every time you replace negative self-talk with positive affirmations, you plant a seed of growth within yourself. That seed over time will bloom into the confidence, strength, and resilience you need to truly connect with your inner self. It's not about being unrealistic or pretending everything is perfect. It's about changing the narrative in your mind. Instead of thinking, I can't do this or I'm not good enough, start telling yourself, I am capable and I will find a way. Instead of thinking, I've failed again, try saying, I'm learning and growing with each experience. Every word you speak to yourself carries weight. When you choose words that uplift, that encourage, and that empower, you will start to see your life shift in ways you never imagined. Remember, the way you speak to yourself shapes your reality. When you speak to yourself with love and encouragement, you're telling your inner self, I believe in you. And when you believe in yourself, your actions begin to align with that belief. Your confidence grows, your decisions become clearer, and you take steps toward your true potential. You are not defined by your past mistakes, and you are not limited by the doubts you may have once held. You are defined by the words you choose to speak to yourself every day. So release that negative self-talk. Speak to yourself as you would speak to someone you deeply care about, with kindness, compassion, and unwavering support. And watch how your inner self begins to flourish, how you begin to shine, and how your life transforms into something truly extraordinary. Gratitude is not merely a feeling. It's a powerful, transformative force that has the ability to reshape your entire experience of life. In a world where we are constantly told to strive for more, to never settle, and to always look ahead to the next goal, it's easy to get caught in a cycle of wanting, striving, and feeling like something is always missing. But let me tell you something crucial. The key to unlocking your inner self, to finding the peace and fulfillment you've been seeking, begins with one simple act: gratitude. When you begin to practice gratitude, something remarkable happens. You stop focusing on what you don't have, and instead, you start to see what you already possess. The blessings in your life, both big and small, start to reveal themselves in a way that brings a sense of contentment and peace that nothing else can provide. Gratitude shifts your mindset from one of scarcity, where you always feel like you're lacking, to one of abundance, where you realize that you already have more than enough to be happy. This shift doesn't just change your thoughts, it changes your entire outlook on life. Think about it for a moment. How often do we find ourselves consumed by the things we want but don't yet have? The next promotion, the bigger house, the new car, or the perfect relationship. It's easy to get caught up in the belief that once we achieve these things, we will finally be happy. But the truth is, happiness doesn't come from external accomplishments or possessions. It comes from the ability to appreciate what you have in the present moment. Gratitude allows you to see the richness of your life right now, exactly as it is. Each day, take a moment to reflect on the blessings in your life. It could be something as simple as a warm cup of coffee in the morning, a hug from a loved one, or the beauty of a sunrise. It's in the small things, the everyday moments, that true abundance resides. When you focus on these blessings, your heart opens up and your mind becomes more aware of the goodness around you. You begin to notice what you've been taking for granted, and as you do, your sense of fulfillment deepens. Gratitude also helps you connect with your true self. When you are grateful, you are rooted in the present moment. You stop dwelling on past mistakes or worrying about future uncertainties. Instead, you begin to experience life as it is, fully engaged and open to what's in front of you. This deeper connection with the present moment allows you to feel more aligned with your authentic self, the version of you that is at peace with who you are and where you are. And let me tell you this, when you cultivate gratitude, your connection to your true self grows stronger. You begin to recognize that you are enough just as you are. The world doesn't need to change for you to find peace. What you need is already within you, and gratitude is the key to unlocking that inner peace. It opens your heart, clears your mind, and allows you to see the abundance that exists in every aspect of your life. So, make gratitude a daily practice. Start today, and watch how your life transforms as you become more connected to your inner self. Living with purpose and passion is the ultimate key to connecting with your inner self. Without purpose, life can feel empty, like you're wandering through each day just trying to make it through. But when you discover your purpose, everything changes. You wake up with a sense of excitement, a sense of direction that gives meaning to your days. You begin to understand that your life is not just a series of events, it's a journey with a unique and significant destination. Purpose is the foundation upon which you can build a life that matters, a life that's meaningful not only to you, but to the world around you. But purpose alone is not enough. You need passion to fuel it. Passion is the energy that propels you forward when the road gets tough. The fire that burns inside when you feel like giving up. Passion is what keeps you awake at night, thinking about the possibilities, dreaming about what you can accomplish. It's what makes the challenges worth it, what gives you the strength to push through the tough moments. You can't just manage the frustration. You must empower your being to achieve your dreams. Without passion, purpose becomes a distant idea, something you think about but never fully pursue. But when you live with passion, that purpose comes to life. It's no longer just something you talk about, it's something you live every day. Imagine waking up every morning excited to take on the day. Not because you have to, but because you get to. Because you are living a life that aligns with who you truly are. A life that reflects your deepest values, your greatest strengths, and your most burning desires. That is what it means to live with purpose and passion. It's not about just going through the motions. It's about engaging fully with your life, showing up for yourself and for the people around you with all the energy and enthusiasm you have to give. When you live with purpose and passion, every challenge becomes an opportunity. You no longer see setbacks as roadblocks, but as stepping stones to growth. Every success feels more meaningful because it's not just about achieving something, it's about fulfilling the mission you've set for yourself, living out your true calling. Purpose and passion keep you aligned with your true self. So take the time to discover what drives you. Ask yourself, what lights you up? What makes you excited to get out of bed in the morning? Find that spark and let it become the fuel that propels you through life. Because when you live with purpose and passion, you don't just exist, you come alive. You connect with your true self, and in doing so, you live a life that is not only meaningful, but also deeply fulfilling. Let your purpose guide you, and let your passion fuel you. When you do, you will be unstoppable. Ladies and gentlemen, the connection to your inner self is not something you find outside of you. It is within, waiting for you to acknowledge it, to nurture it, and to trust it. The journey inward is one of the most powerful things you can do for yourself. When you understand your inner self, trust it, accept it, and honor it, you will unlock a life of fulfillment, purpose, and true happiness. So, start today. Connect with yourself and watch how the world around you transforms. Your inner self is waiting to lead you to greatness. Will you listen? Thank you.